Welcome. My name is Neil Thrussell, and I'm really excited to have almost like a mini family reunion here because Wayne and Jamie, we worked together. I don't know, it might have been five years ago. So I'll just do a really quick introduction. My name is Neil Thrussell. I am with Best You Can Be. I'm a 4 times international best-selling author, and I am super juiced to have Wayne with us here. Wayne.
Hey everyone, great to be on. Great to see everyone. And I have been in the entertainment and speaking industry for 25 years, as well as now I have just created the Aligned Mind method to help people remove those subconscious blocks and achieve their goals. And I'm just thrilled to be on here.
Wonderful, thanks, and welcome, Wayne. And on my screen, the guy that's at the very bottom there, he's holding us up here, Jamie.
Hello, everyone. Of course, my name is Jamie Adamchuk. I'm with UE Coaching, where I help business operators relieve that unnecessary stress, scale their businesses, and truly become business owners. My God, Wayne, it is so good to catch up with you again, brother. Man, it's been way too long.
I know, it is awesome. It's amazing to feel your energy again, and I am excited to converse on this and have some fun.
So in the COVID, when it first came crashing about, Jamie and I were texting back and forth, and we said, what can we do to help? Because there's a lot, and we came up with, well, we need to hold uplifting conversations. We need to find this little golden egg, this nugget in all of this. And then we got Black Lives Matter, we got catastrophe after catastrophe. And so we're just still cranking out uplifting conversations. And when we were talking backstage in our green room with Wayne, you had mentioned that this was your year for your entertainment arm of who you are. This was you, and this COVID came. And then you shared this beautiful story of how what you were doing. And can you share that with our viewers?
For sure. You want me to unload and spill it right now?
Sure.
So the interesting thing, and people are asking, how's this affected you? And I think a great quote, or to paraphrase, I've heard, is that we're all in the same storm, but we're in different boats. And that really resonated with me because everybody, is experiencing something different. For me, I was at the pinnacle of, putting a lot of time and energy and effort into really marrying my entertainment and education to help people create a life they love and overcome their subconscious blocks. And so in February, I had my biggest closing month in terms of sales, booking all these events, going throughout North America. And it was like, yes, we've arrived at a very good area and a good place. And then April was supposed to be a big delivery month, one of the biggest ones ever. And that was all taken away within seconds, within a week. It just happened like that. So it was, to me, it was, what do I derive from that? It was like, okay, everything up until this point has been awesome. I could have stewed in like, oh my goodness, and I'm sure there was moments of, okay, this doesn't feel great, and yet what's next? And so that question led me into really diving deep into a lot of the philosophies, a lot of the things that I've studied, the mentors, and my own teachings. And that was really important, is really to own my own stuff and start to work on that. And it led me to develop, which I've been working at for years, a method called the Aligned Mind method, and a book coming from that called The Aligned Mind. And that's all about getting people into their state of who they really are. And so many people are searching, they're looking for the void or searching in the void. And they get more of that because of the magnetic qualities of our universe and the law of attraction. And so I'm just so adamant to teach people, and a lot of people have heard this, but it's more about living it. And the true part is about feeling it. That's the key. And we can get to that on this conversation here. And that's about uplifting. That's really what uplift is to feel it. And I have an acronym I'll share with you for uplift. I created it before this. But getting to the point of that people are already whole, complete, and perfect. And anything that is less than that is chasing something that's an illusion. So if they come from a place of creating from joy and that they're already amazing, but perfection really means that they continually grow, then they grow and they have fun and they enjoy the ride and they get to their destinations just as quick, if not quicker, and they have fun doing it. I can go on. I'm so passionate, but I'll let you guys step in.
Oh my God, I love that fun part. Right? If we can find that fun in everything that we do, whether it's business, whether it's work, whether it's the enjoyment that we're having outside of those times, when it's laced with fun, when it's filled with fun, maybe that's one of the real meanings of life right there.
Without a doubt. Totally agree. And I think that anything other than my kid, he's 8 years old, turning 9. And it's given me a time during COVID here to actually hypnotize the kids. and here's a humbling experience. My kid's on YouTube and he goes, "Hey Daddy, here's a guy doing hypnosis, a young guy, really good at doing hypnosis." He goes, "But he does the real stuff." And I'm like, "What?" I said, "What do you mean he does the real stuff?" And like, he's hypnotizing people to do all these things. He's got their hands stuck. And so I had to actually take him to my YouTube channel and show him, this is what I've done. And he goes, "Oh, okay." Like, sometimes we're too close to our own stuff, right? Like my kid's telling me this. So that got me in the mode of actually hypnotizing him. Probably an ego thing of, I'll show you, I'm going to hypnotize you. But eventually it worked out, like every night before bed with my kids, both my daughter and my son. But my son said this, he says, "Dad, can you hypnotize me to put me in the good state again?" And I love that. So I coined that phrase, the good state. And that good state is what's in the book. And it's really about anytime you're aligned to who you are, which is love, power, all synonymous, then you feel good. It's as simple as that. Or you feel a state of relief from where you just were. So I think my mission is to get people into the good state. And it doesn't mean always being in a happy, smiley state, because a lot of times that's actually the opposite. We've been brought up to always put on a smiley face no matter what. And the challenge with that is that we're not being authentic to ourselves. So if you feel a certain way, I say embrace it, because all those feelings are your greatest indicator of your alignment. So when you're ignoring it, or you're pushing them down, or you fighting it, it is an acronym for your inner truth or intelligence transmitting. Then listen to it, embrace it, and realize that you're it. And when you understand how powerful you are, you create, and you create from a place of fun because you're not resisting it. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah. I was blessed. I don't know how many years ago when we first met at a personal development program, and there's this, younger version of Wayne there, and it's a hypnotist, and I'm going, oh well, why? And sorry, this is the thought I had.
Yeah.
Oh, why are we going to have this cheesy, hypnotist? Because any of them I've always seen prior to you was this cheesy, do everything for a laugh, and then put right into the story. It's like Wayne's different because he's not trying to take people down. Yes, it's a comedy, but he's building people up. He's throwing these silly acronyms, or not so silly, but
they're silly.
His show. And he's talking about the power within us and the possibilities. And I'm going, well, this is different, and it's still great, and it's fun and everything. And I think out of the 200 people there, everyone left away feeling uplifted. And it was beautiful. So I really enjoyed it. And I looked forward to when you made your return every year after that.
It's funny that you mentioned that, Neil, because I honestly had a dream of that event 2 nights ago. No word of a lie. It's the universe, maybe prepping for this call, this conversation. But that was very powerful. I mean, in terms of the events that Setyan, put on, and all those events were just a real powerful experience for me too, because it was where I was fine tuning things. And I think I just had put the book out. So that was, part of connecting the dots to where we are today. Yeah. Life's magical meaning. So it also is a reflection, is that for me anyhow, is that especially like if you look at how quick and fast and, the communication lines are so instant with the internet, with all the different social media platforms, is that people need to have their attention grabbed, and entertainment is one of the most powerful ways of doing that. And if you look at singers and people that just grab you with music. So I just fell into something beautiful that was very entertaining, very fascinating. If done right, I think it's the most fascinating form of entertainment in the world. And then by able to put some nuggets in there and some takeaways, my whole goal was to entertain, educate, empower. And by the end of that experience, I wanted people to come up and say, you know, Wayne, that entertainment was mind blowing. But you know what was even more powerful is that message.
And for me, you succeeded.
Awesome. And even when I don't succeed, I hypnotize everybody in the room to believe that it went well. And so, you know, use my hypnotic powers.
Oh, that's awesome.
Absolutely. And it's amazing because Wayne has got this beautiful book, Life's Magic Moments, and he's used acronyms for some wonderful words. And many people don't recognize the true magic or the power of our words. It only takes one word to cut someone down, and it can be forever. Or when we're careful with our words and bring it from a place of love and compassion, that one word can bring someone from the depths of despair, alcoholism, whatever, and lift them up. Words are truly powerful.
And just to add on that too, Neil, like I've found, like when I was growing up in school, I didn't do well in English. I really didn't. I actually failed one of my classes in English. And so then for me to go on and write books, it's a testament that anybody can do it, because there's a search of curiosity. And when you align to your inner power, you can do anything. You really can. It doesn't mean that you're going to do anything, because you got to have like kind of a attunement to what's your heart telling you, what's that soul imprint. Getting back to the words though, I found that each word is so meaningful, and yet it's so meaningful in a different way to each person. So it's only as powerful as the word, as the meaning we attach to it. So I think my search for meaning in words came from that, and it's still such a fascination. And then because I'm searching for myself, when I share them, people are like, oh, that's exactly what it is. Or maybe not, maybe they don't resonate with it. But again, the words can be weapons of destruction, or they could be wands of creation. And so it's very brilliant. And I'll share the word WORD, which is not in the book, but I've got a number of different acronyms for word, but here's two of them. Any word is a way of replacing doubt. And any word is also a way of reinforcing doubt. So at any given time, you have a decision to replace your doubt with aligning yourself to who you are, or you can reinforce it by keep saying the words that you're saying. So the fact that people are saying these words like, I've got this, you know, self-sabotaging thing, I've got this block, and they keep replaying it, they actually are owning more of it. So they're creating more of it, if that makes sense. Just in awareness of how our mind works and how we can let things go, the shift is happening. And that's the beautiful thing about the aligned mind method that I'm so excited about, is that it's sometimes so simple to let a belief and a self-limiting thought go, because when people realize how it works, they're like, I'm free. You know, again, but it's all the fascination with the words, the language that has led me to, obviously, to this point in sharing that.
That's exciting. I've got a question.
Yes.
And it deals with state. It deals with mindset. Now, obviously, the three of us here, we know the power of mindset. We've done this for years and years and years. Yet many business owners out there, they start hearing about mindset. Oh, God, you're going to get into that woo-woo stuff with me. You're going to, you know, this. How do you bridge that gap? What's something that you would do when you're working, maybe say with someone in business, in industry, to really have them understand the real true power of what, I don't want to say proper, I don't know if that's the correct word, but what a really great mindset can do? How do you bridge that gap?
I think one, it's with social proof. It's with credibility of, say, I've interviewed a number of Olympic gold medalists, and to have them talk about what their mindset was and how important it is, it's inevitable to see the parallels of how powerful it is. And then even more so, when you can get people to understand where they have created massive success in their life, and then you link it to their own mindset, that's self-fulfilling, because they're like, I get it now. But sometimes people are so close to their own stuff that it's hard for them to see, or they do not value it. And what I mean by that is that over and over and over, mindset comes down to a point of creating habits and disciplines, certain habits and disciplines every day. And that becomes not a sexy subject for people. But if you look at, say, health or vitality, there's certain things that people do that are top performers, and their mindset creates the space, creates the discipline, creates the motivation to repeat it daily. And when people realize their own little habits that have gotten them so far, it's amazing. And then contrast that with the ones that aren't working with them. And then to call them on their own BS.
Yeah.
And to keep them accountable, because people are so easy to dismiss things because they are, well, I don't know if that'd work. So I think when you're dealing with people too, it's really not to come from a place of like, I'll fix you, I'll help you. It's like, you're going to, you know what? You're going to take care of your own bullshit. So sometimes you got to be a little bit on that side of people have to be and that's a technical term. Okay. Bullshit. You have to, that changes people's state.
Technical term.
Yeah. And sometimes for kids too. But, so that's the way I bridge it, is by, talking about that. And some people get it, and some people need to actually learn the hard way. And the hard way is usually they hit rock bottom, or they feel enough pain. It's tough though to teach a concept that's in an area that's all about intangible. Yet I really focus upon people can feel it. They can always feel their focus. And so when a lot of my education, a lot of my teachings is all about, how do you feel? You can tell somebody what to do, but how do you feel? Like when I get people to feel as though they've achieved a goal or a dream, they feel it. It's visceral. And I know through my own experience, my background that really taught me about how powerful the mind is and the mindset was in the sport of amateur wrestling. One, I had a very serious neck injury where when I took time, I was supposed to actually go and get surgery because I had 3 herniated discs. The MRI said, this is how it is. Specialist said, you need surgery. And when I took that time, I started to visualize, but I wasn't visualizing healing and getting myself better. I was just visualizing what I love to do, which was wrestling. And in and of itself, guess what happened? I healed, I regenerated, which the professionals and the doctors said it wouldn't happen. And then I went on to wrestle for a number of years after that. So that's another testament of sharing your own personal story to help people realize the power that they have within. And I think that's why we're here. We have our own personal experiences that we're driven by, and sharing that with others. And when we live it and we're in that state of alignment, that's the best way to give permission to do the same.
Yeah. One of the things that I've noticed of many people is they don't know how truly incredibly awesome they are, and they're not aware of their own potential.
Yeah.
It's like I've run 2 marathons, and to me, that's an amazing feat. And for me, and I'm proud of myself, but it's something that most reasonably healthy people could do, but they choose not to. And there's millions of reasons why. But then there's other things that people choose that the couch is more comfortable than getting out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
I've seen Wayne's posts on 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock on a morning, and he's at this McKinnon or the ravine and running up these steps. And I'm thinking, he could be doing far better things other things you could be doing than that. You could be at the cafe, the latte shop or whatever.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, Neil. And I think that part of it comes from us comparing ourselves to others and getting very distracted in the whole mess of like, oh, I should be like that person or that person. And it actually diminishes or dilutes what I call your inner passion, your IP address. That inner passion it's so powerful that when you lock into that, then it not comes from a place of all these things that you should be doing, because there's lots of distractions. It's what you want to do. And then that, I think right there is a key in the sense of being driven to a point where you associate massive pleasure with the fact that I go out and do stairs. Is it going to be tough? Of course it is. Of course it's, but it feels good to have accomplished something. So people have it set up in their mind of all these blocks to protect themselves from, so your mind can work in a way where you can actually associate the meaning and pleasure to all of these things in a good way. Like I can tell you so many reasons why I go running. 1, it keeps me sane. 2, I'm in nature. 3, I have some of the best ideas come to me. 4, I could be having the worst day in the world and I get out there and I'm like tuned in and dialed into the divine. And I am just in that flow. And afterwards, like I have my most productive day. So I have so many reasons. And I think it first starts by people. And it's very simple, yet not always easy because people dismiss this or they've been jaded, is first deciding what you want and then writing it down.
Yeah. And it's fun to see Jamie, I don't know, when was Kerwin Ray's first program that you nail it, scale it? It was fun to see Jamie. He gets up early in the morning and he's working all day. And Jamie historically is not a late night person. And then he stayed up all night Australia time to do this. And it was because it was his passion and it was his focus. He was just so juiced. I was like holding the phone. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. You see, what's great about that is Wayne, you totally nailed it. It's about that meaning that I associated to it. For me, that meaning was, my God, I'm learning something. I'm growing. I'm going to be able to take these new tools, these new resources, apply it directly to my clients. For me, it was just win after win after win. Many people might look at it and say, yeah, you're up till 3, 4 in the morning. What are you doing? That's crazy. That's pain. Me, all I could associate was absolute pleasure. The one night there, it was the last night of the event. And I mean, I was on a complete high. It was about 2:30, 3 o'clock, 3 a.m. in the morning. And, you know, someone had some questions. And someone, let's get on a Zoom. I ended up doing a 45-minute Zoom call with one of the other participants. We just went for it because I had associated so much, just so much pleasure to doing it, to being a part of it. It's why I serve. It's why, you know, I'm part of his crew now, where I'll go on and I'll be one of those resources, those supports for people that are attending the events, because there's just so much pleasure behind it. The time doesn't matter. I don't have any negative association at all. It's just all pleasure.
Yeah, no, I'm on that same wave for sure, the same page for sure. It's when you're tuned into that, then you know, that, hey, your energy has to go somewhere, right? So you could be fighting your energy and just losing just as much energy, or you can compare it to, like, I'm so tuned into my passion that person's just like, why would you do that? Look at how much but it's the same amount. It's like you've just aligned yourself, having all those energies going in the same direction. And I can relate to that so much, of being on the road, doing my events. People would say, well, why would you go on the road and do all those events? And now it's a different story. So I'm not on the road. It's like, but then with those challenges, then you got to say, what's next? And you got to, you know, always know that there's that passion. And one experience I'll share real quickly is that I was blessed when I was in amateur wrestling, that in the first year in, and I got beat up, and I don't know why I stayed with it. I really don't, but there was a nudge or something, just, you know, I guess I maybe it was a coach saying, you will not quit. Eventually I started doing well. And for whatever reason, I loved the sport. And then when I got to grade 9, I still remember the exact moment where I said to myself in my head, and I saw it, I said, whatever I'm going to do later on in life, I'm going to have to have the same passion that I'm experiencing right now for wrestling. And that set the bar, because things that happened in my life where I was a teacher and then I left teaching because I wanted to, you know, I'd seen a hypnotist in a nightclub. People thought I was crazy. Like, what? You're giving up teaching and you're doing that? Because I followed, here's the saying, I followed my heart.
You're crazy. You left a safe, secure job, Wayne.
Yeah. The GPS in life is all like, you know, I label our subconscious the great, powerful subconscious. And it's also the great paradigm shift. There's also these big paradigm shifts that are happening, and we're all waking up to more of who we are and the old constructs of being safe and secure, when true freedom is living from a place of following your heart.
You're preaching to the converted, to the choir. Absolutely. We're completely. Cool. So you have this beautiful book, and I teased people that we were going to talk about magic.
Yes.
So what's the acronym for magic? Do you remember?
Oh, for sure. They're all ingrained in me. And I have a number of different ones for magic. I have like the 5 points of magic that are the 5 points on a star, which I can go through, but the one in the book is manifest and grow into creation. So it's all about who you are right now is pure magic. You are pure magic. And when you own that magic of being whole, perfect, complete right now, you manifest from there. So you manifest and grow into creation. And it's a never ending process. So the sooner that you can choose or decide to be a joyous creator and have fun with it and play and learn and lead yourself, you do massive things in the world, because what you're doing is you're giving permission other people to do the same. And that's true leadership, is when you're living your passion, you're in that state of power, no matter what happens. And talking about, your state, Jamie, is like how you can shift to handle anything. You're going to have challenges when you put yourself out there more. You're going to have struggles, yet you'll be able not to stay there as long. You'll be able to deal with it in a better way. And you manifest and grow more of what you want into creation.
I love that. I love that whole idea. And the presupposition behind that is no matter what's going on, I can grow. I can manifest exactly what it is that I want, as long as I'm willing to put in that effort to go through those times of difficulty, persevere, and get to the other side.
And those times, those moments in time, those places where we experience struggle, we experience hardship, those are also at the back of that. If you have a question like, what can I learn from this? You're always learning some of the most remarkable things about yourself and life through those experiences. One experience I had is, hey, Tina just piped in. Hey, Tina, good to see you out here for sure. The aspect of, and I've got a number of these experiences that I call the resilient moments, right? Where I had an employee steal massive amounts of money from me, and it was devastating. And yet at the same time, it was one of the greatest learning experiences that I could have gone through. It wouldn't have made me who I am today, with my mindset about abundance, about money, about being a people pleaser and what that really means, and how to own my stuff and how to help others. A sense of appreciation for life. So a lot of those things are there. And the magic really is that we are amazing magicians that can create the visible from the invisible, turn something into, from the nothing. And that is really where it starts, is the heart and the mind. And when those two are aligned, it's magic. And like even mind, MIND, one of the acronyms is magic is now developing, is magic is now directed. It's like who we are. We have this incredible capacity to own our own power, to be aligned to that, and then to create from a thought, an idea, fueled by desire and passion, that creates fantastic forms that we see in this physical world. I mean, we're living it right now. If you think about all these technologies, all these ideas, all these things that are happening in the world right now, 20 years ago, they were science fiction. And 10 years from now, it's going to be mind blowing. It's crazy. We're living in times right now, like people seeing us on the feed, where if you talked about this 50 years ago, that was only like maybe an idea that somebody had, and now it's this. So it's also proof that your ideas, they are so powerful, and it's about taking those ideas and turning them into creation through faith, desire, and focus.
Wonderful thing. What you had said something that we all have had these moments where life has just put a bucket of poop on our head, and we're wading into it, and we're endeavoring to keep our mouth closed so that we're not taking in too much of it.
Yeah.
But it's somewhere in us. I think the three of us, there's a switch. And I think for me, it comes to a choice. Eventually, I just go, okay, thank you. Now what do I want? That's my mechanism. And sometimes it's through running. I will be out running and I'm going, okay, this has happened. And I just go, okay, I want something different from this situation. What do I want? What is it for you guys? Is it just simply a choice, or is there's a process you go through? Any comments?
I think that's a great question, Neil. Did you want to answer it first here, Jamie?
No, go ahead, Wayne. Go ahead. I've got some thoughts on that as well. Please go ahead.
For sure. For me, I was going to make a joke, say it's all about being courteous, letting somebody else answer first. The whole aspect is, the answer to that is, one, I can give you an intellectual answer about, oh, well, I asked this question, I do this. I said, but I think it's become a habit for me. That's why it's a mindset. It's a mindset of, I just know I'm going to handle it. I just know I can handle anything. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. All those programs have been pre-programmed into my subconscious because I've decided to do that. And one of the greatest affirmations came to me while I was running. I posted it the other day. I was laughing, but honest to goodness, I believe this is the most powerful thing somebody can say to themselves in any situation. Do you guys want to hear it?
Yes.
Okay, that was a sales tactic there, right there. Here it is. It's the word mind, so M-I-N-D, and that is now an affirmation for me where it's me. I now decide. Because first of all, we look at the outside as like, oh, okay, sometimes we can cast blame. We can look at these outside situations, and it's easy to do because all we have to do is put our attention there. And as soon as we go me, it brings it back in. And I use these actual movements. Me, I now decide. And so I now decide what? I decide to have a plan. I decide to ask a better question. I decide. Everything rolls off from there. Everything rolls off from me. I now decide. Just like you say, it's a decision in every moment. And our beliefs are just a matter of decisions that we've made over and over and over to the culmination of a habitual thought.
Incredible. I love that. Decision, right? Mm-hmm. That's where I was going to go with it. Myself, I see it as being powerful. And this isn't an ego thing. It's nothing like that. When I'm making decisions for myself based on what I want, when I draw that line in the sand, I'm stepping into that power. I'm not allowing other forces or outside forces, anything along those lines, to be making that decision for me. I'm not simply a leaf out in the ocean floating around. I'm making the decision. I'm taking conscious choice to move in that specific direction. And just that in itself, knowing that I have the ability, I have the power to go ahead and make that decision, it fills me, right? I see it as powerful, not in an ego way, not in a power tripping type of way, but really the fact that I can make these decisions and that those choices, I am the captain of my ship. I am steering the ship in exactly the direction I want to go. And it feels amazing. It's the power of decision. The power to be able to decide and make that choice as to where you're going. For me, fills me up completely.
Awesome. No, I resonate with that deeply for sure.
Yeah.
Goals. For me, I think many people aren't as success, like for my coaching clients, they're not successful in their own mind because they don't have big, hairy, audacious goals that stretch them beyond. Like the first time I turned to Tina and said, I've only ever written and never let anyone really read my work. I woke up one day and said, honey, I want to write a novel.
Yeah.
Or, honey, I want to run a marathon. And I was not a long distance runner. And yet I did it. I think goals are that, as we had my running coach last week on it, he says you got to throw out a goal which becomes your anchor so it can pull you towards it, or you can pull and draw yourself towards it.
Yeah.
And so goals, what are your big, hairy, audacious goals? Anything you want to share?
Sure. Yeah, my goal, especially just more recently, it's refined because I think here's part of the whole issue is a lot of people think that they have to be super clear on their goals and they have to like take their dream and make it a deadline. I say, how do you know it's the right for you? And I have one answer. It feels good when you think about it. That's it. It's a flow of energy that comes through you. That's the flow, which is feeling love operate within. And I have a goal is to get my aligned mind method out to 1 million people, to have people use the aligned mind method so that not only they can benefit, but they can actually teach others. So it's really about training people. It's really about teaching people so I can scale it to the point where there's 1 million people using the aligned mind method.
I love that. That's incredible.
I mean,
cool.
Yeah. So you've only got 999,000.
And that's the beautiful thing, is that where I am right now, I'm not, I get caught sometimes, like some of the people that have, done an amazing training and they get it out to the world. I can go, oh, that's what I'm lacking there. I've got so much. Or I can get really excited and say, I've helped 2 people today. I help people, with and so many people get caught up in I got so much, and that drains you. So you're not uplifted. When you are uplifted, you're always knowing that you're aligned. You always know that you're tuned in and tapped in. And so I always just look at it as, hey, I'm going to be creating on this earth plane for quite some time. So why not enjoy it? Enjoy the ride. And that's actually where I'll reach more people too, because of my energy that I bring. And I also want to attract those people into my community and into my sphere, because we really are, what we send out is what we're bringing back in. So that's my goal, is to get that out to 1 million people.
Wow. See, I love that. And I've got a really great question. I think you'll know maybe where this question is coming from. What does it now look like that you've achieved that goal of reaching those 1 million people with your Aligned Mind program? What does that look like?
Oh, it's amazing. I have these images and this visceral feeling of me signing books for people coming up after the event, where I get chills right now. And that those chills are real chills. It's not just because there's air conditioning in here. And I will tell you, I see people empowered where they're living their passion. They're creating a life they love. And so much of what I'm doing right now is now so evident of why this is all played out like this in terms of COVID. And I'm making my own meaning out of it, because we're creating our own life anyhow. So why not? And feel that feeling, because that's the trustworthy thing of, people, sharing this with the world, me stepping on these stages, having, tons of people at the book signing session where I'm getting it out there. And then also from a state of freedom and financial abundance, and a state of me being able to do more of it, being able to give, be able to be that, that person that really loves to help others, and take care of my family, where we're doing all these trips. And so I can go on, like the vision is just a continual stream of seeing that every day.
Yeah. Would you say that that's an important aspect of setting that outcome, of setting that goal?
In regards to all the stuff that I just talked about in terms of the vision.
Betcha.
Yeah. That's the raw materials that life is made on. It's really, it comes from one place, it comes from your imagination. And our imagination is absolutely brilliant. It is absolutely one of the greatest gifts that we have. And so many people are using it to reinforce what they have, not to create from a place of expansion and newness, especially when there's crap going around and chaos. But if people, ask themselves, are there people that are creating a life they love right now in the midst of all this? And of course there is. There's people that take ownership, they're helping others, they're doing something. And that feeling as though you've already achieved it is a big, big part of my daily discipline. I call it the Magic Color Association. And I did it when I did the event years ago, Neil. I've been doing it ever since. I've been fine tuning it. I'm getting that out to the world, first of all, just to, get people to realize the power they have within themselves to take themselves to a place. Because I've had people say to me after them feeling as though they've achieved a goal, that they didn't even allow themselves to do that. And once they did it, they have tears of joy, of passion, and of absolute relief, because a lot of times people are holding that sense of they can't do something, and when they let go of that, it's like busting open the dam, right? The floodgates open.
Absolutely. Jamie and I are really big on, if you succeed in anything, you got up and brushed your teeth, let's celebrate whatever your wins.
Yeah,
absolutely. Take it. And because I believe we need to be grateful in whatever we do. Like I'm reasonably healthy. I have a wonderful family. I've got beautiful friends out talking with me. Life is good. Life gives me lemons at times, and I choose what to do with it. And that's what to me is the miracle of life, is recognizing that I choose. So if I'm having a bad day, it's my power to get me out of it.
Yeah. There's it always comes back to a choice. Always comes back, whether it's conscious or unconscious, right? And the more people can wake up to realize that they can own it, the more power that they have in changing things in their life. One thing I wanted to touch on when you mentioned about goals, Neil, I'll just share real briefly here, is there was some teachings that I came across over the years, and then more recently, one of the fellows, I'll say his name, I'll give him credit, Christopher Duncan, talks about when you set a goal, you create structural tension. So Buckminster Fuller came up with tensegrity, which is basically the tensional integrity. Is that a lot of times people talk about stress and tension as it's a bad thing, but there's, you know what, we grow because of stress and tension in this physical world. So creating a goal is the first way that it pulls you forward. It creates this structural tension. If you think about this from a very logical standpoint, is that here you are, here you want to be, and you've, in the moment of here you want to be, you've created a structural tension. It pulls the line. It creates this. So the more that you can create it out here, the more this tension happens. And then how does that tension get resolved? It gets resolved. And if you look at the word solve, it's a liquid, it's a flow, right? It's a solvent. It comes from the flow of our energy. It's feeling life operate within. And so the more that you're in that flow, the more you will start to get closer to your goal. You'll do the things. It's all this powerful energy that you're using. But as soon as you have a negative thought, belief that impedes the flow, you feel this stress, this tension, this interference. It's clashing against the flow, and that's where people are living most of the time. So how do you manage that gap? You feel good most of the time by doing whatever it takes, moving your body, affirmations, hypnosis, meditation, all these modalities, techniques. Because here's where I stand. I think that we're hardwired for harmony in terms of the concept we just talked about, but we're conditioned into struggle. So I think that the more people are setting goals, the more they're getting themselves to stretch, the more they're getting themselves to subconsciously just know that that's pulling them like a magnet. And you've got all these great resources. So if people aren't setting these goals, they may be just sitting on the couch. Doesn't mean that they're lazy inherently, just means they haven't set some really exciting goals for themselves, which I believe are super important. And again, it comes down to decide what you want and write it down. I mean, Jim Rohn talked about that, and I don't think you can say it any easier than that. Decide what you want and write it down. Do that on a daily basis. And if nothing else, that'll change your life.
Yeah. It's humongous. Having goals, having something to work towards, it gives you, I talked about this last night. I'm in the process of recording my business accelerator program right now. And that magnet analogy, I don't know how many times I use that in the program, because when you set that goal and you get clear on it and you see it and you know with certainty, you develop that sense of certainty within your body, you know you're about to achieve it. It is much easier to do. It will pull you. It will give you that magnetic attraction towards that ultimate outcome of where you want to be and where you're going. And man, that's exciting. I don't know where Neil dropped off to there, but I'm sure he'll be back.
He's in the universe somewhere.
Exactly. He's floating out there. Yeah. He's doing his thing. I absolutely love hearing you talk about those goals and share that information out there. Because I think for me, goal setting is one of the very spices of life. It's what gives us purpose. What's your thoughts about that?
I do. Yeah, I think that, like a lot of people will talk about the chicken or the egg, right? What comes first? I think when you start setting goals, you then start to open up doors that you didn't even realize were there. So they're interconnected. There's a sense of oneness, is that when you set a goal, you already start looking for more of those things that are going to help you, and driven by purpose. And if you set a goal that your heart's not really in, then you'll find out. So there's a contrast effect, is that you'll find out what your purpose is by setting a goal. And maybe that's the purpose, is to set these goals and to become greatly aware of who you are at the time, so you can have more of that, right? Because we all set goals sometimes which are meaningless, or we think that they're what we want, but we find out that there was somebody else's goal and we don't really want that. So exactly. I think goal setting is inspiring to open that door for sure.
Yeah.
And Jim Rohn did say this. He said, and it's hard to beat this quote. He said, the true purpose of goals is they compel you to become the person it takes to achieve them.
So it's actually an upgrade of your life, your person, who you are. That's that purpose of setting goals.
It brings you out. It's your beingness. So if people have a goal to be a millionaire or have a financial goal, it's not the $1 million that you get, it's who you become.
Yeah. And the trials and tribulations along the way to become that person, to grow, to get into that, own that persona, if we want to call it that. That's where all the gold is. It's not about just getting to the destination. We always hear that. It's the journey, not the destination. The destination is great when you've had a wonderful journey along the way.
Without a doubt. And I say, from the book, the Life's Magical Meanings, I said, all those magical meanings are there to help you create magical moments. Yeah. And if you look at life, it's a string of moments. And when you can make those moments more magical, you take that to your grave and you have shared that with others and you've left a legacy. And so those magical moments are it. And sometimes those magical moments happen in a very deep way, profound way, where it's like they're a highlight of your life, or they're just a very, very small magical moment, and still they're a magical moment. And the more that you can string those up, the more you've created more of a meaningful life.
Yeah. And that's beautiful. When we're looking for those moments and celebration, I mean, Neil touched on it earlier there, that whole idea of celebration. Yay, I got out of bed. Yay, I made my bed. Those are those little checkpoints. Those are those little jewels on that necklace of, your ultimate success, your ultimate happiness. Because I believe that happiness is the ultimate return on investment. I believe that we're in this life to be happy.
Yeah.
There's challenges, the struggles, they're testing our resolve. They're testing to see if we really value happiness as much as we really must, right?
And I think a lot of people have it backwards. They want to get to a destination to be happy. And in fact, they're delaying their happiness when anybody can be happy now. At the end of one of my presentations, I've said this for years, is, a lot of people feel bad for no good reason. So why not feel good for no good reason? And when you're in that state of happiness, you perform better. So for the people that are a little bit more on the physical plane of just give me the goods, how this works, well, ask an athlete. When you can control your stress and you can feel excited, you can feel confident, you perform better. And that same emotion that is coded as confident, exciting, is also the same energy that's vibrating at a high level where you're attracting the people, places, things, events, opportunities into your life. Hey, we're celebrating Neil back on.
Hey, there's a celebration right there.
Yeah. I said some bad words. I'm at my wife's computer and somehow the power bar got rolled under into my feet and I stretched, kicked, and everything was black.
Wow. It was all meant to be in some way, shape, or form, so you could get back on and we celebrate you coming back.
Celebration right there.
Yeah.
Normally it's Jamie that gets kicked out.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And I'm only glad, and then I love, because we're using a program called StreamYard. Thank you, StreamYard. That it didn't kick you guys out, so you could continue on and say bad things about me.
This is all good. I have my Uplift acronym if you guys want to hear it.
Bring
Absolutely.
it.
Okay. So there's a few different versions, but Uplift is unlimited pure love is felt there.
I like that.
So unlimited pure love or unlimited pure light, unlimited pure life is felt there or is flowing there. So again, it's like what I talked about before, is that you can always feel your focus. You can always feel if you're tuned in and tapped in, and through your awareness in your body, you can feel it. And let's face it, let's just give a little bit of thought to when somebody has a particular pain or an illness that becomes like a major illness. Where does that all come from, right? Is that an inflammation, something stuck in their body? And I don't want to get too deep, but we're in an ecosystem. Our whole energy is a whole ecosystem, our mind, body, heart, and soul, all connected through the that theory of oneness, and it's all playing to let us know that we're aligned or we're not.
Sweet. Beautiful. Thank you. So what did I miss? I know there were some nuggets and some gold.
We had just, I think, a follow-up on goals, which you brought up, Neil, and we just said, Jim Rohn saying about the true purpose of goals is that they compel you to become the person it takes to achieve them. So you become more of who you are, you become more of the creator you are meant to be, and so setting goals is super important.
Oh, I think Tina just asked a question.
Oh, yeah. We are hardwired for harmony, but conditioned into struggle. I think she wanted me to yeah. Some people love their struggles. They love the drama. Obviously, it becomes a habit for them. So it's hard for them to change. And that's why, our body's always letting us know, or through our awareness, that we're either, feeling good or we're not. And feeling good means, you're in a state of relief, state of alignment, state of being in tune to who you are, and a state of not so much is friction. It's fear. It's deviating from that love.
I belong to a men's group, and in my men's group, he believed his wife was addicted to the struggle, and she just spent a great deal of time, and he was getting very frustrated with they loved each other, and he knew in his mind he knew he needed to do something. So he invited all the men from the men's group, and they removed all of the furniture and all of the TVs that were comfortable to sit in, and left her with this old wooden rickety thing, so that they needed to move because she had some health issues and she needed to move, and she wasn't moving.
And one way to do it.
And there's a whole bunch of negative context that how could he do this and all of this, but the ultimate is they moved through counseling and that, but it worked because he took some initiative and he went with her. And I know for me personally, there's an appropriate time to share goals, and then there's a time where I don't need to share because they're not formulated enough. But I love goals when I'm bringing my tribe with me.
Yeah.
And I find that I'm able to succeed when I have my community, my tribe greater with me. It's all dependent on me and my own, what I'm doing. But it feels much better in the celebrations when I cross the finish line and I've got a whole cheering section.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's awesome.
So we're at that part of the time where we need to think about unwinding ourselves from these great conversations. So what's the best way, or is this the best way for people to get a hold of you, Wayne?
Yes, it is. And at the bottom of every page, there's an opt-in to receive my free color association, the magical color association, which is what we've been talking about how people can go through this exercise less than 5 minutes. People will feel as though they've achieved a goal, and also have a very specific tool that they can use to get themselves into that state throughout the whole day, because that's sometimes where people will spiral. They'll go back into their own habits and thoughts. So that is the best way they can do that is, and then all the other information on the site is there as well.
Wonderful. And I always ask this question, and Jamie doesn't care. It's like I could put up whatever, and Jamie's like, yeah, okay, as long as it really connects to him. But this is one of the ways to get a hold of Jamie.
Definitely. That's one of the multiple ways, and we'll be watching out because I've got a new website going to be launching real soon. I've been working with some people in the background, so I'm excited to get that out. That's a great way. It's got all my contact information, ways that you can reach out to me. We can get on a call and really understand where we can close some of those gaps in your business from where you are to where you know you deserve to be.
Wonderful. Thank you. And for little old me, this is a landing page. You can get a hold of me at bestyoucanbe.ca, or we've got a beautiful gift called the 7 Secrets to Living a Happy, More Joyful Life, and you can get that. And it connects you to a newsletter that we share, and as with anything on the internet, you can opt out at any time, but I don't think you will once you get in on it. So as part of our tradition or how we like to end the show, we like to end it on an up note. And so I'm going to give Wayne a few minutes to think about how he'd like to leave our viewers and our listeners, because this goes to various podcasts, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Podcast Play. I don't know what they're renaming it to, but it goes to a whole bunch of different places. So I'll give him a few minutes, and then as per usual, I'll let Jamie in because he's been very quiet today. I think he's ruminating on because he's going back. Oh no, you're on a call after this.
I am indeed.
So I'm just going to leave you. You are worthy and capable of achieving any goal, dreams, or aspirations that you put your heart towards and into, that you fully participate in. And with that, I turn to Wayne.
Awesome. So mine is very short and sweet. It is, you are the magic, be the magic, and feel it.
I absolutely love that. Mine is also short and sweet today. It's 3 simple words, 3 B's: breathe, believe, and receive. I guess it's 2 B's and 1 R. Simple process to get all that you want in life. Breathe, believe, and receive.
Awesome.
Thank you. And we'll see you guys later. Thanks for being on the show, Wayne.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure and so much fun. Thanks, guys.
Excellent.